Here is a mystery hiding in plain sight. The raw model we built last episode does exactly one thing: predict the text that comes next. So watch what happens if you type "what is the capital of France" into that raw model. You do not get Paris. You are far more likely to get "what is the capital of Italy?" "What is the capital of Spain?" Because on the internet, a question is very often followed by more questions. The raw model does not answer you. It just continues you. So how on earth did we get from that to ChatGPT, something that actually responds, helps, refuses to do harmful things, and has a recognizable personality? This transformation is the real secret sauce, and almost none of it is about knowledge. Let's be precise about what is actually missing, because it is not what people think. The base model has already read the whole internet. It absolutely knows the capital of France is Paris. That fact is sitting right there in its weights. So the problem is not knowledge. The problem is behavior. The model has no idea that when a human types a question, they want it answered, not echoed. It does not know it is supposed to play the role of a helpful assistant in a back-and-forth conversation, because being a helpful assistant was never the game we trained it on. We trained it to continue documents, so we do not need to pour in more facts. We need to teach it how to act. We need to teach it taste. So here is the first, most obvious fix. Just show it how to behave. Hire people to write thousands of example conversations, a question, paired with exactly how a good assistant should respond, and train the model to imitate them. This is a real step. It is genuinely the starting point, and it works surprisingly well. The model stops rambling and starts answering, but it slams into a wall. To make the model truly good, you would need to handwrite a flawless answer for every conceivable question, on every topic, in every style and tone. You cannot. There are not enough skilled writers on the planet, and you would never finish. Worse still, for most questions there is no single perfect answer. There are many good ones and many bad ones. Writing out ideal answers simply does not scale. And this is the breakthrough, and it is beautifully simple. It is far, far easier to judge than to write. You might struggle for an hour to write the perfect answer to a question, but if I put two answers in front of you, you can tell me which one is better in about 2 seconds. So flip the entire problem around. Instead of asking humans to write the answers, let the model generate a few answers itself, and just ask a human which one they prefer. This one or that one, better or worse. Comparing is fast, it is cheap, and you can do it millions of times across every topic under the sun. And what you collect is no longer a pile of perfect answers. It is a giant pile of human preferences, of which is better judgments. That is the gold. Now comes the clever move that makes it scale. You take all those human preferences and train a second model whose only job is to imitate them, to look at any answer and predict the score a human would give it. You have just built an automatic stand-in for human taste, a tireless judge that can rate millions of answers without a single real person in the loop. And then you let the main model practice against that judge. It generates an answer, the judge scores it, and you nudge the model's weights toward answers that score higher. Generate, score, nudge. Again and again. And the model's whole behavior physically migrates, drifting out of the bland, average of the internet voice it was born with, and climbing uphill toward whatever humans actually find helpful, clear, and kind. But there is a real danger lurking here, and the fix for it is elegant. If the model only ever chases the judge's score, it gets sneaky. It starts hunting for cheap tricks that happen to score well. Maybe it discovers that drowning you in flattery or hedging endlessly earns high marks, and it collapses into doing only that, forgetting how to genuinely communicate. This is called reward hacking, and it is a constant threat. So you keep the model on a leash. A simple rule that says, go ahead, improve your score, but do not drift too far from the sensible language model you started as. Get better, but stay yourself. And that quiet balance, chase human preference but stay grounded in real language, is what keeps the whole thing from flying off the rails. Now the honest, up-to-date picture, because this field has moved fast. The original recipe used a heavy reinforcement learning step, and that is the version that first made ChatGPT click for the world. But today, it is more of a menu. Some newer methods skip the separate judge model entirely and learn directly from the human comparisons, simpler and more stable. Some replace the human raters with another AI, judging answers against a written list of principles, so the feedback itself can scale to millions. And the newest, sharpest twist of all, for anything you can automatically check, a math problem with a known answer code that either passes its tests or fails them, you do not need human taste at all. Being correct is the reward. Hold on to that idea because it is exactly how the reasoning models are trained, and that is the very next episode. One practical footnote. This same shaping, done lightly, is how anyone can take an open model and fine-tune it on their own examples, your support tickets, your writing voice, to specialize it without retraining the whole giant thing. And here is the single fact that should rearrange how you think about all of this. Back when this technique was first proven, a small model that had been through this preference tuning was preferred by human raters over a model more than 100 times its size that had not. Sit with that. 100 times smaller, yet more helpful, purely because it had been taught taste. The lesson is profound, and most people miss it entirely. A huge fraction of what makes an AI feel smart, helpful, safe, and personable is not raw size and not raw knowledge. It is this final shaping. Pre-training gives you the raw intelligence, a vast, rambling library. This step gives you the manners, the helpfulness, the judgment, the librarian who actually knows how to help you. So that is the keystone of the whole season. A base model knows an enormous amount, but only knows how to continue text. We turn it into a genuine assistant not by stuffing in more facts, but by letting humans rank its answers and nudging it toward the ones people prefer, teaching it taste, helpfulness, and where to draw the line. It is the difference between a library and a librarian. But notice the one kind of better answer we just unlocked at the end there, the answers you can automatically check for correctness. It turns out that opens a door so important it gets its own episode. What if, instead of only rewarding a good final answer, you reward the model for thinking, for working a hard problem out step by step and catching its own mistakes along the way? Do that, and you get the reasoning models. That is next.